Think SQL is the same on every platform? Think again. If you're working with DB2, knowing the basics isn't enough. You need to know the DB2 way. Let's master it right now. Hey there, welcome to Topictrick. I'm here to help you navigate the world of data, one query at a time. Today, we're breaking down the absolute basics of SQL for DB2. We'll start by categorizing the different types of SQL commands so you know exactly which tool to grab for the job. Then we'll look at the specific standards and quirks that make DB2 unique. We'll walk through real-world examples, and by the end, you'll be able to create, read, and manage data like a pro. Whether you're a student starting out or an IT professional transitioning to IBM systems, this tutorial is your roadmap. Let's get to work. First, let's talk about the four main types of SQL commands. You can't just speak SQL without knowing the grammar. In DB2 and most relational systems, we group commands into four buckets. The first is DDL, that's Data Definition Language. Think of this as the architect phase. Use these to create or change the structure of your database. The main commands are create, alter, and drop. Next is DML, Data Manipulation Language. This is the librarian phase. Once the shelves are built, you use DML to add books, take them out, or update them. The big four here are select, insert, update, and delete. Then we have DCL, Data Control Language. This is all about security. You use grant and revoke to decide who can see what. Finally, there's TCL, Transaction Control Language. This is your save button. It includes commit to save changes and rollback to undo them if something goes wrong. Quick recap. Use DDL to build, DML to manage, DCL to secure, and TCL to save. All right, moving on. Now that you know the categories, let's look at DB2 SQL standards. DB2 follows the international SQL standards, but it has some personality of its own. One thing you'll notice is the use of schemas. In DB2, every table belongs to a schema. Think of it like a folder. If you don't specify one, DB2 assumes your username is the schema. Here is a cool DB2 quirk. If you want to perform a calculation or get the current date without querying a real table, you use a special built-in table called sysibm.sysdummy1. Here's the code. Select current date from sysibm.sysdummy1. Another standard to remember is how DB2 handles strings. Always use single quotes for text like, quote, hello, quote. Double quotes are reserved for column names or tables that have spaces or special characters. One more thing, DB2 is often used in high-performance environments. Because of that, we use the clause with UR, which stands for Uncommitted Read, at the end of queries to prevent locking issues. It's a classic DB2 move. Quick recap. DB2 loves schemas, uses a dummy table for calculations, and uses specific clauses to manage performance. Here's where things get interesting. Let's put this into practice. We are going to build a simple student database. Step 1. Build the table using DDL. Here's the code. Create table students, opening parentheses, student underscore ID, integer, not null, comma, first underscore name, variable character, opening parentheses, 50, closing parentheses, comma, GPA, decimal, opening parentheses, 3, 2, closing parentheses, closing parentheses. This creates our structure. Now let's use DML to add a record. Insert into students, opening parentheses, student underscore ID, comma, first underscore name, comma, GPA, closing parentheses, values, opening parentheses, 101, comma, quote, Alex, quote, comma, 3.85, closing parentheses. Finally, let's read the data. In DB2, if you only want the top result, we use a special syntax. Select star from students, order by GPA descending, fetch first one rows only. Notice we used fetch first one rows only instead of limit one, which you might see in other databases. That is the DB2 standard. Quick recap. We defined the table with create, added data with insert, and retrieved the top student using fetch first. Next up, we're going to cover common pitfalls. Let's talk about common mistakes you might run into with DB2 SQL. Mistake number 1, case sensitivity in identifiers. Here's what happens. You create a table named students with a capital S in double quotes, but then try to query it using lowercase students. Here's the fix. By default, DB2 converts everything to uppercase. Avoid using double quotes around table names unless you want to force case sensitivity. It's much easier to just let DB2 handle it. Mistake number 2, missing the not null constraint. Why this happens? People often forget that primary keys cannot be empty. How to avoid it? Always define your ID columns as integer, not null, to ensure your data stays reliable. Mistake number 3, forgetting the schema. The quick fix is, if you get an object not found error, check your schema. Try prefixing your table name with your schema name, like myschema.students. If you run into any of these, don't sweat it. Most DB2 errors give you an SQL code, a number you can look up to find the exact fix. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. First, we learned the 4 command categories: DDL for building, DML for data, DCL for security, and TCL for transactions. Then we looked at DB2 standards, including the sysdummy1 table and the importance of schemas. Finally, we walked through a real example of creating a table and using the fetch first clause to retrieve data. You now have the foundation to start writing SQL specifically for DB2 environments. You understand the structure, the syntax, and how to avoid the most common beginner errors. That's a solid step forward in your database journey. If you found this helpful, hit that like button. It helps me know what topics to cover next. Subscribe to Topictrick for more DB2 and programming tutorials. Check the description for the code snippets we used today, and drop a comment if you have a question about DB2 syntax. That's it for today. Keep practicing those queries, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding!